I'm not sure if everyone saw what I just saw there, but I just saw every single councillor that's currently on council not answer the question. And this is the problem here, folks. If you can't make a decision here now, you're not going to be able to make a decision sitting around the table. Now one of the municipalities' roles is land use planning. I find it kind of humorous to hear this no info comment. I understand the Vantrites are on their 6th proposal and have spent over $250,000 on proposals, okay? So there's plenty of information on there to make a decision on where you want to go with these proposals. Obviously you have to hold some variables constant. I've talked with Pat about it. I mean, Pat hasn't brought forward a Peninsula Co-op proposal yet. But the question is, do you support switching that land from rural to a commercial designation? If you do, then that allows them to move forward with the plan, and then you can deal with what they bring forward at that time. But it's about land use planning, it's about making decisions, and that's what I'll do as Mayor of Central Saanich.
Thank you.
Yes, I mean, frankly, coming from a business background, that's what you do. I'm part of running 2 businesses, Island View Golf Center and 5 Star Paving, and so day in and day out, we're making decisions, and a lot of them are tough decisions, but you learn to make those coming from that background. I think as a mayor, the best way to ensure that decisions are made in a timely fashion is to ensure that information flows freely between all the councillors. I know currently, right now, certain councillors don't talk to each other. That's got to come to an end. That's kid stuff. And the third point I'd like to make, and this is the most important one, is make decisions. You got to make a decision and then stand by it. And let the people know where you're coming with it, where the logic was behind it, but it's important to eventually come to that decision so we can move forward as a community. I've had a lot of people come up to me in this campaign and say, make sure you don't look like a slate, make sure you don't look like a slate. Well, that's not very difficult when you're not a slate, okay? I've met with some of the other councillors, not all of them. Frankly, I haven't even had an in-depth conversation with many of them on where we stand. So to answer your question, Stephen, no, there is no slate happening. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. I'm not familiar with the particular bylaw that you're referring to, but I will say, just from judging from the way the question is posed, it sounds like a bit of an extreme route to go, shutting off someone's water. Obviously, that's very important to all of us. I believe, and I know for a fact, there's plenty of bylaws on the books that can be applied to enforce compliance. Thank you. Yes, there's 2 things we can do to ensure that we have keep young adults in the community out here. First is infill housing in the commercial centers. I've already talked about this, so you've heard my stance on that. The second point is secondary suites, and Chris is correct. The council did bring forward a secondary suite bylaw, but they made the hoops that people had to jump through way too big, and thus we haven't seen the rental units expand like we would like to see. We haven't really even seen that many suites legalized due to that. There's 3 things I'd like to do to the secondary suite bylaw. First of all, accessory buildings should be allowed to have secondary suites in it. When I was door knocking, there was a lot of rural estates that had these beautiful suites above detached garages, and they were forced to shut those down. We should allow them to have those. Second point is parking. It shouldn't be 3 parking stalls, 2. Some people won't drive. 2 is a fair, fine enough minimum. And the third one is we should allow investment properties. Right now, if you buy a house, you can't rent out the top and the bottom floor unless you live in the top floor.
Jack Moore.
As a municipality, we face a number of financial obstacles. There are 2 ways we can deal with this situation. We can either A, raise taxes, or B, create wealth and expand the tax base. I'm advocating expanding the tax base to meet these commitments. I believe we can allow landowners to improve upon their property in Saanich, in Brentwood, in Keating, and still maintain the area's rural appeal. This November 15th, you, the voters of Central Saanich, are going to have a choice. A choice between embracing individual ingenuity or rejecting it, a choice between embracing creativity or rejecting that, and a choice between raising taxes or expanding the tax base. I invite you to look at my website, seanformayor.com, see where I stand on the issues, and if you like where I stand, if you like my positions, I'd really appreciate your vote this November 15th.
Thank you, Jack Moore.